This is not a new problem. We have evidence that experts were writing about plastic pollution in the Atlantic Ocean almost 50 years ago. Marine animals are dying from ingesting our plastic waste.
When we see a post-hatchling, we're pretty much guaranteed that it's got plastic in it.
But state laws prevent cities from taking action.
The only people that are really benefiting from these bad bills are the lobbyists and the industries that they represent.
And when a city challenged one of those laws, special interests sued.
Do you agree that local government should flaunt and ignore state law?
Sometimes you have to break the law to make significant strides.
If you were to see these turtles out in the wild, you might have no idea that they're actually carrying plastic inside of them right now. This is the plastic that they found inside this turtle. They say it still has plastic inside of it. His neighbor over there also has plastic inside of it. But these guys are actually the lucky ones because they're a little bit bigger, so they're able to pass the plastic. With the little ones, it's not so easy.
That plastic gets lodged in them and either just blocks their intestinal tract and they starve to death, or it punctures their intestinal tract and they die from infection from it.
And that's the plastic.
Dr. Charles Manier collects the pieces of broken down plastic they remove from the turtles.
Any plastic that reaches the ocean, they will never biodegrade. They don't go away from the environment. They simply break down into smaller and smaller pieces. Therefore, they affect smaller and smaller animals.
The newborns are called post-hatchlings, and 93% of those brought to the Loggerhead Marine Life Center have swallowed plastic.
30 years ago, when I started with sea turtles, we would see a little bit of plastic occasionally. Now, virtually every single post-hatchling that comes in has some plastic. It's not a question of if they have it, it's a question of how much do they have and whether it's going to kill them or not.
When the staff at Loggerhead get calls about stranded turtles, they go out and try to rescue them. But about half of the post-hatchlings they find after swallowing plastic die.
The whole age class could be wiped out because of the plastic.
It's a problem that's not likely to slow down as we use more and more plastic. Every minute, a truckload of plastic is dumped in the ocean. At this rate, that will go up to 2 trucks per minute by 2030 and 4 per minute by 2050. By mid-century, there could be more plastic than fish in the ocean by weight. Already, scientists have found plastic in all marine turtle species and in almost 60% of whale species. It's also affecting many other types of marine animals. This dolphin was found off the coast of Florida and died after swallowing 2 plastic bags and a piece of a balloon. Seeing all these wonderful animals affected by our plastic waste really makes you wonder how we let it get this bad. Because this is not a new problem. I mean, we have evidence that experts were writing about plastic pollution in the Atlantic Ocean almost 50 years ago. So you would think by now coastal cities in a state like Florida would have done something to stop it. But for the most part, they can't, because the state of Florida has passed laws that prevent local governments from banning things like plastic bags and polystyrene, which you probably know is styrofoam. And these laws are the result of a major push from lobbyists like the Florida Retail Federation. Now, that organization represents giants like Publix and Super Progressive, and they're willing to take this fight very far. Because when the city of Coral Gables went ahead with its polystyrene ban anyway, the Florida Retail Federation sued them. When the city won, they appealed. Critics will say that you're stopping cities from implementing ordinances that would allow them to protect the environment.
All we're doing is asking cities to abide by state law. To have a city basically flaunt state law and ignore in the state constitution, we think is illegal, and that's why we're in the lawsuit with that.
What was your reaction when you first heard the Florida Retail Federation is suing you?
I wasn't surprised. These are lobbying entities that have to do everything in their power to protect their bread and butter.
What they're saying is leave it up to the state so that we have a comprehensive law throughout the state.
We have left it up to the states, and the state has not enacted.
He's right about the state not acting. In 2010, Florida's Department of Environmental Protection recommended plastic bag regulation. 9 years later, the legislature has yet to act on the department's report, and other Florida cities have also gotten tired of waiting.
I've heard from dozens of cities who have called us and says, the moment that you win, we're all in. People are getting ready to take the baton from us and do exactly what we've done in regards to polystyrene and plastic bags.
But those efforts received a major blow when an appeals court ruled in favor of the Florida Retail Federation. Now Coral Gables is taking the case all the way to the Florida Supreme Court. In the meantime, environmentalists are still pushing for changes in legislatures around the country.
The biggest opposition that we face is our lobbyists from interest groups. So whether it's petroleum-based interest groups, plastic-based interest groups, those bills were not put in place to protect or serve the Floridians or the people of Florida. They were there to protect and serve private interests, and that's why we need to do away with them.
It's going to take a village to fix this problem.
Back at the Turtle Hospital, Dr. Manier is tired of seeing post-hatchlings die, but he thinks we still have time.
There are times when it's frustrating and when I think that it's my species that's doing this to the animals, but yet I would hope that we're intelligent enough to undo what we've done.
In this case, though, it doesn't seem like intelligence might be enough. It'll also take political will.